facing Ghana today. Now, despite successive governments' promises and interventions, the rampant destruction of forest reserves, water bodies, and agricultural land persists, threatening not only the country's rich natural heritage, but also the health and livelihoods of countless communities. Now, with the National Democratic Congress, NDC, now in power, there is seeming renewed hope and pressure for decisive action to nip galamsey in the bud. Central to this debate is the controversial legislative instrument, that's LI 2462, which governs mining activities in forest reserves and has come under intense scrutiny. Now, as stakeholders from government, civil society, and policy circles convene to deliberate, the question remains: how can Ghana effectively eradicate illegal mining while balancing economic development, environmental protection, as well as social justice? So ruminate on that for me as you get ready to also send through your thoughts and your comments this morning on the big issue. But yesterday, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey held a presser and touched on many themes concerning illegal mining. They have some burning questions for government. Let's take a listen to what happened yesterday. When we come back, I'll introduce my panel and then we'll get talking.
Will not accept an amendment that responds to the interests of certain individuals, not taking into account the interests of the nation. The LI 2462 must be revoked, and it's with urgency. The Kumferi confrontation, where the police allegedly shielded Chinese nationals engaged in galamsey, a disgrace to the entire national security apparatus. We demand an immediate and transparent investigation, with all complicit officers from the district to regional command interdicted and prosecuted. We have, however, observed and condemned resoundingly the alarming pattern of some officials from the ruling NDC being involved in illegal mining.
Have captured the state, whether it is NDC or it is MPP. The one reason why President Mahama, I believe, has even shown something small is because of the public pronouncements he made coming into the elections. He has to show that he has done some. But it's a difficult thing, and he himself has admitted it's difficult. If you don't force him, he will not move. If matter comes, a lot of these politicians, they will leave this town. Most of the Ghanaians, you are sitting here, when wahala gas, they will be gone. By what water you will drink, it will be your wahala. They would have made the money out of here, and you will be suffering for the decisions that they have taken. Fight for your future, fight for your children, show up, but let them see 1 million people on the streets. But if we continue this way, they'll keep waiting for us to keep talking and talking and talking, and they'll spend the rest of the time discussing things that they think can keep confusing all of us.
All right, and you were listening there to the convener of the One Ghana movement, Senyo Hosi, yesterday as the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey addressed the press. It was a press conference held in Accra yesterday, and some burning questions were asked and some suggestions also made on how we can effectively fight this galamsey canker. Let me introduce my panel for this morning, and then we'll sink our teeth into these very pertinent issues. Lawyer Kwame Jantwa is here with us in the studio, energy analyst, private legal practitioner, also the oil and gas sector chairman of the AGI. Lawyer Jantwa, good morning.
You've left one out too.
Which
a
one
member
is
of the
one?
CPP.
And a member
please.
of the CPP. Very important.
Stop that, too.
Forgive me.
I'll get up and go.
That would be disastrous.
Yes.
Lawyer Jantwa, good morning.
Most important. Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How's the CPP?
Very well.
Very well. All right. We have some questions to ask you, but we'll table that for another day.
That is not for discussion
That's
today.
not for discussion today,
so
but in due course.
Don't bring it in.
We'll get talking. It's good to see you. Always a pleasure. I also have in the studio Ebo Bakwan, Senior Communicator, Movement for Change. I'm pleased that today he came with his yellow Bible.
Yeah, because you've been asking for it, so I decided to bring it today. I mean, and certainly we can glean something from it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hopefully there are some alternatives, suggestions that the Movement for Change can introduce into the conversation that I'm sure government can add to their arsenal.
Yeah, we've already given a copy of it to the president.
Okay.
And on the galamsey issue, our approach is very brutal. we don't want to. We don't want a situation where those who are involved in galamsey will be pampered as though what they are doing is more important than the issue of national interest. So we propose a complete ban to start with, a complete 1-year ban.
But have we started a topic? That's the topic.
Yeah. So when you get there,
We
of
just
course.
asked you one small question. Okay, so we'll come
Hey, well,
back.
it's good to see
Eh?
you.
Okay, I surrender.
Thank you for joining us this morning. Let me also say a very good morning to Professor Enoch Opoku-Antwi, governance expert and policy analyst. I'm sure you're all waiting for a sound bite this morning. I'm sure he'll be treating us to something that we'll be able to repeat for weeks to come. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, Helen. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. This is how I sign on this morning. I think that our cell phones is causing a lot of problems for us in terms of relationships. And on the Father's Day, which only what the men received was messages, Happy Father's Day, I saw a lot of women who did well by taking their men out for dinner.
I hope they also paid.
Yeah, well, I was thinking so. But what I observed was that most of them were just playing with their phones. And the partner that they were with, they were not talking to. I looked at the research recently, and it says that every individual now on this planet wakes up within the first 15 minutes, what they are looking for is their phone, their cell phone. And it's really affecting relationships because people are there and we are not talking to each other. We are all on our phones.
Yeah.
So let's guard against that. It's really hurting relationships. The other thing I want to talk about is that the government should continue to create opportunities for Ghanaians. Unemployment is a big issue. Most of these guys don't have a job to do, so let's work on that. The last two, the rains have started, the roads are bad. So let's at least, level the roads for some people because the gutters and then the potholes are many. So let's work on that. I want our citizens to enjoy what we also have. And people go through a lot in this country. The last one is that everything we say at funerals should be said at birthdays. I go to birthday parties, we don't say much about people because we have lost most of the love at the tribute when people die. When you go and people have died and there's a tribute, they say good things about them. But when they are alive in their birthdays, nobody says any good thing about them. So let's begin to show more love when people are alive instead of when they die. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. What an excellent introduction. And I think you're right. Give people their flowers whilst they're alive. Don't wait to put it on their graves. And
But I have not done my introduction anyway, so you go ahead.
your introduction was that we need to be decisive on
But
galamsey.
the topic you're going to discuss. That cannot be.
Hey, well, let me give you a minute then. What's burning on your heart?
I just want to share this very interesting Japanese wisdom.
Okay.
This Japanese wisdom, very simple. I mean, to all of us as Ghanaians.
Right.
Apart from what the Bible teaches us, this is also very important. It says, if it is not yours, so don't take it. If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it. If you don't know, shut up.
If
You
you
shut
don't
up.
know,
You shut up.
You shut up. Some wise words this morning. And finally, let me also introduce Abraham Amalaba, Acting Director General, National Road Safety Authority. And he's a man on the move. If you've put a billboard up in an unapproved area, somewhere that you are obstructing all of our views, causing issues on the road, causing accidents, being a nuisance, Lawyer Amalaba is on the move. So take that caution. Good morning to you.
Good morning, good morning. I was going to find out why you decided to introduce me last, but it's okay. You have qualified it by talking about my campaign against illegal billboards. Accra is increasingly becoming the world's capital for billboards. Every small space within the road infrastructure, you see a billboard. Even if a stone is lying on the floor around the road, you see a poster there. This cannot be. In this day and age, you have Google Map. So these road signs, these signboards that show our office is here, our office is here, it's a cake. You just Google. You want to go to where? Metropolitan Assembly. It will show you. So the billboards are becoming a nuisance. Drivers cannot see afar because they block the view of the drivers. Pedestrians who are also crossing cannot see afar because they block their view. And so yesterday, I was at East Legon, Ayawaso West Legon, and when I gave the 21 days, the assemblies thought I was joking.
They didn't heed to the caution.
They didn't. Some of them said, why am I doing that? And that it is collaboration. Collaboration for wrong things to be done. Things are wrong. Let's do the right thing. Then you sit there and say, I'll come there. When I come and I'm removing them, they should ask me why I'm removing them. Because from the Ayawaso West Wagon, they said that on the medians, when there are two roads,
Right.
there's the island there is called a median. On those medians, they never, certify any advertising company to as it were, put billboards there. So yesterday, they were ready to partner us to remove them. And that's what happened yesterday. I've also met with the Advertisers Association, and they're also ready. They say that some of those billboards are erected by persons who are not their members. So I'm on good grounds with the Advertisers Association and with some district assemblies. The next assembly will go to them and tell them that we are here, we want to remove them. And I'll do it. I'll clear the whole of Accra. You wait and see. It's just that resources are few. I don't have the budget. I said now, my institution has not been given any funding for this year. But look at the work I'm doing. You can imagine if they had given me funding, I would have cleared the whole country.
Manova,
Yes.
it's good to see you this morning. And
Man of action.
a man of
It's
action.
a man of action.
Ayuko, for the work
of
so
action.
far. Of course, we'll be looking to see how it progresses in the coming weeks and months. All right, let's get back into this conversation. We're talking illegal mining, and we know the dangers that this poses for our health, the dangers that it poses for the health of unborn Ghanaians. And yesterday, the One Ghana movement, the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey, held that press, and we played a soundbite for you on what happened yesterday. But a lot was said. We also had Ken Ashigbe yesterday addressing the press, adding some more flesh to the bones. And the LI 2462 also still in focus. Questions being asked about why it still has not been revoked, and there's still talk about amendments only. We'll get the perspective of from government and find out exactly what is going on. But Lawyer Janto, I'd love to start the conversation with you. And first of all, how do you assess this government's fight against Galamsey so far? Do you see anything that's going right, or are we still on the same path that we were before?
What a question. Good morning to our viewers. Good morning to my fellow panelists. You want me to assess the government of Galamsey?
So far, the fight, what you've seen, what you've heard, the posturing of government, is it decisive enough? Does it instill confidence that this fight can be won?
We want action.
Action.
That's what we are looking for. We want action. On organized labor suspended their nationwide strike 9th October 2024 based on certain promises that were given in the past government. At the time, the NDC was shouting where LI 2462 was concerned, that it needs to be revoked. So what has happened? What has gone wrong? Do you, maybe AB will be able to tell us, because I'm struggling to find out why it hasn't been revoked and it's been amended. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was said that it could affect some of the legal mining companies, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that was the reason given. But those legal mining companies, are they supposed to be mining in forest reserves? Look, the biodiversity, the ecology of those forest reserves, go back years. And how many forest reserves do we have? We have quite a number.
Quite a few.
Quite a few. Yeah. I think they said we've now gone into, is it 44?
I'll check that.
Yeah, we've gone into quite a number of them. I have said the most important thing is to organize Galamsey. We are talking about, and Prof talked about what? Unemployment. Are you saying we can't organize Galamsey in the style of a cooperative That is what we need to do. And to be able to do that, we have to, the president has to go into the Constitution, 31, emergency powers. He has the power to at least, if for nothing at all, bring in some emergency powers to halt galamsey for now, whilst we restructure and make it a profitable business and done well.
Is that the same as declaring a state of emergency?
It says 31. The president may, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, by proclamation published in the Gazette, declare that a state of emergency exists in Ghana or in any part of Ghana for the purposes of the provisions of the Constitution. It can be done. So I'm not sure why that has been held back. But most importantly, let me ask the question. And I have posed this question before several times to do with the Electoral Commission. Whose responsibility is it to find out how political parties fund themselves? Is it not the Electoral Commission?
That is so.
And in terms of galamsey, has it not been financing political parties? Where do MPs and a lot of these MMDCs, all these people who are known, where do they get the money from? Where do political parties get their money from? Yes, you get some individuals financing political parties, but really and truly, will I be right in saying that galamsey also finances political parties? I think so. Should we not find that out? Should we not try and find out where the galamsey money is going to? Our exports of gold, before Gold Board came in, quite a huge percentage of those exports came from galamsey. Have we been able to track where they came from? And most importantly, the destruction of our environment is key. So I have said, shoot to kill. Once upon a time, the galamseyers didn't have guns. And I said it then, that they would have guns. The terrorists and all these people who are looking for money in the sub-region to do all the nonsense that they are doing in there, killing people and doing all this kind of terrorist thing, they won't come and attack Ghana. They'll use Ghana as a hub to make money. Come. Easy ways, galamsey, come in and do what? Do galamsey, have their guns, have their, what do you call it, and fight us. Is it not happening? Hanabisu, wasn't she shot at?
That's right. A very scary encounter June 9th, where her and her team went into one of these forest reserves or areas in the Ashanti region, and there was exchange of gunfire. She was there with some security personnel, but also journalists who I'm sure were unarmed, probably didn't have the requisite protection in terms of bulletproofing and all of that. It's very scary.
Do you know what Erastus, is it Asaredongo?
That's right.
Has been through?
Good morning.
Do you know what he has been through? If he sits down and narrates some of the things he's been through, isn't that a trigger to handle galamsey and handle it, you know, without any equivocation? I think the galamsey fight should be in the presidency. That is where it should be. With the Minister of Mines working with him and Minister of Interior, all of them working with the president. The president takes that command in directing it. He's chairman of the what? He's head of the, he's commander-in-chief, isn't he?
Indeed.
Of the army. So he has the power to do that. He should take it by the scruff of the neck, because otherwise, galamsey is going to obliterate the country called Ghana if we sit and do absolutely nothing about it. And at this point, it is going on, isn't it? Who have we really prosecuted where galamsey is concerned since it started? Give me names. Can you?
You mean notable names?
Can you give me names? Those who are funding galamsey. It's not those who are in the pits doing the work. Those funding, those bringing the money. And today, Ghana is one of the leading countries in the import of excavators. It gets to the port. How does it get in? So there are quite a number of things and steps that could be taken towards stopping galamsey. But it doesn't look as if The political will is there to do it. And what even makes it worse is that in Ghana today, money comes before integrity. If you have the money, you can do whatever you like. Nobody will say nothing. Because we are not enforcing the laws. Galamsey is illegal. It is illegal. It is hurting our water bodies. It is hurting our environments. They can divert a whole river. How possible? What country does this happen? And we are sitting, folding our arms? Go to Burkina Faso and go and try and do it. You see what will happen to you? That is the kind of power the president can exercise by stopping it and getting all of us. Look, Ghanaians should say, if you do not stop galamsey, we are stopping work. The country is on a shutdown.
So nobody goes to work, everything is at a standstill.
We are part and parcel of the problem. We are part and parcel of the problem. The people are part and parcel of the problem. It's not only putting pressure on government, the people too are part and parcel of the problem. Because it is the people who are engaging in it. It has to stop. God has given us natural resources. God didn't expect us to handle natural resources this way. My father and all the other people, they'll be turning in their grave, knowing that this is what is happening. And the worst bit is the water bodies. The worst bit is the foreigners who come in. And the Minister of Interior comes and says, what, if we catch foreigners, we're going to deport them. We won't take them to court. Go to America. The people who they are deporting, do they not take them to court first? Do they not? So we need to be serious about galamsey. It is gradually creeping, and it is gradually going to end the country called Ghana if we do nothing about it. When I say nothing about it, substantial action. We need to have a guard for galamsey, army. Put a guard in place. They come there, you are doing it. We warn you, if we come and you're doing galamsey, we shall kill you. Simple. Kill a few people, and you see what will happen. For the betterment of the country. Kill a few. They have guns now, don't they?
Indeed.
The kind of equipment, the guns they have, do our army have it? Have our army not been shot at? And then we are sitting, twiddling our toes, twiddling our thumbs. Oh, and gradually we are killing the country called Ghana. How can you divert a water body? How?
And speaking of that, actually, when Hannah Bissue and her team, she's again the administrator of the Minerals Development Fund, were doing their rounds, some rivers were diverted such that certain school children could no longer go to school because the river in which that they would travel on has been diverted and they've been cut off from school.
You see, one of the major things that should have even triggered us was the fact that Ghana Water now had to spend money to purify the water. That should have been a thing that we would say, this thing has to stop. Are we doing it? Does Ghana Water have the money? Ghana Water today owns ECG nearly 1 billion cedis.
That's right.
Do they have the money? So we should stop twiddling our toes. And for me, the buck stops with politicians, because politicians are part and parcel of galamsey. MPs in the galamsey areas should make sure that they can stop it. Unfortunately, my chief is dead. Mampong, dare you do galamsey in Mampong? Go and see Mampong, whether there's galamsey there.
He was taking decisive action.
Yeah, decisive action. And that is the action all chiefs should take. Like Otumfo has said, all chiefs should take. What do Otumfo say? They know. How much are they making out of galamsey? That they need to destroy the country called Ghana. I don't understand it. With all the natural resources we have in this country, if we were to plan it well, and that's why a national development plan is key. Plan it well.
Absolutely.
South Africa. What did gold do to South Africa? Pretoria and those, it built the country. Why is ours destroying our country? It doesn't make sense.
No, Ajantwa, thank you
and
for
the
your...
power lies in the hands of the president.
Certainly.
Act forcefully to stop it.
Thank you for your thoughts. I'll certainly come back for another bite on this one. Prof, Lord Ajantwa says it's a shoot-to-kill approach that we must take. Do you agree with that, or should we be embarking on a more holistic approach? He also mentioned maybe a cooperative, Lloyd Anton, that's what you said, a
Yes.
cooperative.
To plan it
to
well.
plan it well. I think in the past we called it community mining, and that certainly wasn't fit for purpose because that quickly we saw was corrupted. We also talk about the approach of providing more jobs. You mentioned that this morning. There are several factors that keep the galamsey menace going. What are your thoughts?
I have a gun and I know how to shoot, but I don't know if, Lawyer Gentua, you have a gun and you know how to shoot. Shooting is a very delicate thing.
When they are going to kill me.
No, but nobody has
When they are
threatened your
going to kill
family
me.
now. So
When they are going to kill me. And I miss you.
I know, but I am saying that.
You don't want to die, but you want to kill me. No.
No,
that's not that way.
but Kwame, let me finish. But why are you heckling me? You are just punching and you know, heckling.
All right, I'm sorry.
You are my name, Kwame, so give me some space. Then everything will be fine. Okay, we cool.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that I don't think shooting and killing will solve the problem. If we do that, we're going to kill all our citizens. We need to have a very holistic approach. Because if you see, our elders say that if you see a rat, okusie, in the afternoon, either that rat is a 100 meters champion or that rat knows how to vanish. Because our people will chase the rat and try to kill it. There's a reason why these guys do galamsey. And if you look at the footages where people go straight, deep, like 1 mile, 2 miles, you know, and some of these, look at the dirty work that they do in getting something. Because they don't have jobs. Now, I'm surprised that no nation in the world has litigated their way to progress. We've all engineered, you know, and innovate our ways. So we have a bunch of lawyers with a lot of laws, even go to our parliament. This constitution that we all have copied that you can read within 2 hours, we've been fighting about LI this, constitution says this, that, and we can make a headway. But if you go to any country of law, the law works. So let's ask ourselves, I'm putting this whole blame at the footsteps of the law. How come that we have laws against illegal mining and nobody is paying attention to the law? Then why did we waste all our time in making that law that we know will not obey that law? I have a problem with that. Because I've been saying many years that if you go to any advanced country, you are a mayor, you are a governor, and then you are caught for overspeeding. It is against the law. Once you are caught, if it is $200 fine, you'll be fined $1,000 because you should do better as a leader. So what is happening to us that we can't stop mining in forest reserve areas? And then we have coalition against galamsey saying that, okay, then the president promised to revoke. And I'll explain the difference between revoking and amending. One is an administrative term, the other one is a legal term. And I think revoke is a wrong word that they used.
I see.
Yes, it's a wrong word. So let me explain. Freedom is, you know, if you have freedom, it is empty without wisdom. And a blank page holds no story. So a life without duty holds no honor. And it's because we are not having the duty of protecting our own. If we don't, have you asked about the cost of that bottled water now? Belacqua and the others, 40 Ghana cedis now. Have you noticed that? 40 Ghana cedis.
For which size are you referring to?
For 15 LM and whatever you call it.
Right.
40 Ghana cedis. So imagine very soon how much we're going to buy water. I work with ADRA, Adventist Development and Relief Agency. And do you know that the Densu River, that starts from Eastern Region, all the way to Greater Accra, that most part of Accra uses, that river, is treated 3 times because it's the most polluted. The whites in America thought about, in the dry season, that river dries out. So what are we going to do? They gave us what they called food for work. So we were giving 1 bag of rice for you to plant acacia trees so that in the dry season, our rivers will never dry. Americans were doing that, giving us rice for that, and even the farmers were trying to dupe me. They will plant 2 acres and they will come and say they have planted 5 acres. If I tell you what we are doing to ourselves, you will not believe. The average Ghanaians know how to cheat, know how to loot for themselves. So let's all get the gold that we want and the money that we have. Do you know that water, lack of water, is a national security issue?
That's right.
If you don't have water to drink, you will die within 11 days.
War.
You see, you will die. And do you know that if you don't have electricity, it's also national security issue? If we don't all have power, how do we survive? So there are a lot of things that is going on, and then people make allegations. He's saying that they are Chinese citizens, and these Chinese citizens are being protected by the police. So who watches over the police? Let's call the IGP and ask him that, okay, they say your boys are protecting Chinese citizens. So what do you say? That is how the law works.
In fact, the IGP himself describes what is going on as a war.
Yes, I know. And everybody knows that Dampara was a good friend of mine. So I know that war that he fought. And I agree with Kwame that there are a lot of big people. There is no way a Chinese person with those little eyes will come to your village that the chief is not aware, the assembly members are not aware, the elders are not aware, the MCs are not aware, and the MPs are not aware. How? And let's ask ourselves, which of us Ghanaians can go to China and mine anywhere? Or go to America or Europe and decide to even pick a machete, cutlass, and dig something there on the ground? You dare not. So how can that foreign nationals come to our country, go to our villages? Now they are even taking over our women. Have you noticed that?
That's what's going on.
But that's not a problem.
I know.
We also marry foreigners.
I am using that as you know, something.
So they have assimilated into the community.
They have assimilated into the community because they enjoy coming here. But how come that they are always going to where they will get quick returns on their money? Invest in the natural resources, get gold, get diamond, get manganese, and then they leave. Why are they not investing in the agricultural system? Why are they not investing in education? Why are they not investing in the health system? But just the galamsey, destroy our water bodies, get the resources they need, and then they leave. It's because we are working in tandem with them. So what do? What we have to do as a nation is that, yes, we have to declare a state of emergency. I agree with the coalition. The state of emergency is that if we don't stop it, my father, may he rest in peace. 2 years ago that he passed, he asked me, Kwame, so if you have all the gold chains, that some former party, regional, I don't want to go there.
It's not former. The current regional chairman of the
was saying that my gold chain costs $150,000. My watch costs $120,000. And sometimes I don't even know what to say about some of these things. And when I see that these people are suspects and they are being called and the whole parliament will come and sit and support such a person, how low is our standard? If I'm here and I'm not educating people, then I've done injustice to, the education that I received. What is our standard? I keep asking, what is our standard? So is our standard showing off gold and diamond to show people that what, we are rich? Look at the list of richest people in the world, the first 100, and see how many Africans are in there. Only Dangote. We are not rich people. We are a poor continent. And if you look at the plethora of resources in the bellies of our land, and our people are suffering. I see poverty every day and I cry. Somebody wants Gary and Shito to eat a day and they can't get it. But some people want to show off wealth, to show off whether they have it. So what I am going to end with it, and when we come to the second term, I will explain. No, Africa is not poor in terms of human resources or material resources, but we are poor in leadership and corruption. We are poor in leadership and corruption. And I want... Yes, but Mali talk about mental slavery. That is our problem. See, we need to emancipate ourselves from the mental slavery because for far too long, our priorities are wrong. There's a reason why if you go to any advanced country, 3 things you don't touch. Water bodies. Every water is sea blue. You can't touch it. The second is you can't touch any animal. You see, and the last, you can't touch any tree. The trees will fall down, they will come and take them out. You can't, these things, the flora and the fauna, they protect our existence. Why we want to get money quick, at the expense of everything, whether we get water or not, we don't care. Why we want to do that, I don't know. So let's go back to the roots of our education. I think our orientation is wrong. People go through, chew, pour, pass, get a degree, and then this degree that they have is all to use them for arguments.
You say they don't actually imbibe the values.
Our kind of education is wrong. Let's go to the roots. It's wrong. It's all about getting a degree. It is not that matters. It is when you come to the discussion table, the ideation, what idea do you bring that change our world? Like I said, no country has litigated their way through the law to success. It is how they engineer their way and innovate their way. Let's talk about innovation. I'm just challenging TV3. Introduce 2 programs that I knew in US, National Public, MPA, National Public something. They have what called Car Talk. And it's the most popular in the advanced country, Car Talk. 2 guys who will come and talk about cars. If you have an accident on the road, how to fix your car. These things. And you have about 100,000 people listening, a radio program. Car Talks. Let's talk about Science Friday. That somebody introduced a program on TV3, Science Friday. Every Friday, we talk about the scientific discovery that we are having. And let's stop. The entertainment is okay. But we are dwelling too much on entertainment when we have a lot to do. You know, last week I talked about this.
That's right.
And somebody was saying, Prof, you will get a BPO for Ghana. Yes, I know.
Let some steam off
and
every
I
now
have
and
passion
again.
for this because I have seen poverty before. So when I see poor people and we are not doing much to help them, my body cringes. Let's do more to help our people. And I think that we should begin to orient our kids. Because a child goes to school, JSS, they're looking for a port to pass on exams. Everybody's looking for how to cut corners. From JSS, they are looking for short way to pass on exams. SS, they are looking for short way to pass on exams. They finish, they are looking for short ways to get a job. And then when they get a job, what do? They loot and steal.
In fact, now we're told AI.
You've left one out.
One.
The women are looking for soft living.
Well, I mean, I don't know about that. And go pass on my meal. So
We'll gloss over that one very, very quickly.
feminists are not going to deal with you on this one.
We'll
So
gloss over that one very quickly.
Yes.
But I get the import of what you're saying, Prof, about what our values are. And in fact,
we need values.
Who we glorify, the sorts of values that we glorify, you say that's what's even causing all of this.
Thank you. We live in a society where people will say that, do you know that man, that is his car? Oh, that man, that is his house. We identify people with material things. This is the house. Elon Musk, that you see the richest person in the world, you know he doesn't have a house? He doesn't. Anywhere he goes, he finds a hotel, he sleeps and goes. Now he was perching at the White House and he has got problem with Trump and then he's thinking about, okay, what do I do next? But the rich people that are Slim,
Amazon.
Carlos Slim,
Amazon.
the guy, Jeff Bezos.
Yes, drives an
If you
old
see
car.
the watches they wear and you know, people don't show. I sat at a park with a guy, John Menard. He's one of the richest people in the world. If you go to US, all the big lights that he supplies them. He was sitting at the park with me with a shorts and some t-shirt. And then we were talking, and then he said, that was in Eau Claire. In the state of Wisconsin. And then I saw a chopper coming in. That was his private, chopper, helicopter. And then he stopped there and said, Enoch, I'll have to go. And I said, so who are you? He said, I am John Menard. People who are rich don't even show it. But here, people who are semi-rich, they have something, and they show off too much because we have glorified material things. We should begin to glorify wisdom and knowledge and pick wise people and knowledgeable people to lead us with values. Other than that, we'll be running in circles and we'll never make a progress as a nation.
Certainly, Prof. Some very interesting perspectives that you've introduced into the conversation. When I come back for your final bites, I do want us to talk about the declaration of a state of emergency. That's something that featured heavily yesterday during the coalition's press conference. And they say that it should be targeted in specific areas. They're not saying a state of emergency across the entire country. That's something I would like us to explore. But Lawyer Maliba, let me come to you next. The NDC campaigned on ending galamsey. It's something that many Ghanaians threw their weight behind you because of that campaign message. What concrete steps has the government taken since coming into office to fulfill this promise?
Okay, so let me start by saying that I disagree with the shoot to kill policy. I've always maintained that we should declare our forest reserves military security zones. In South Africa, water bodies are declared as security zones. What you do is to send detachments to permanently station there and rotate the people. With that, no galamsey will enter the forest. Declare them as security zones. So, in substitute to your shoot to kill policy, rather, let's declare our forest reserves as security zones. And that would go a long way to nip this in the bud.
So if people try to infiltrate, what do you do?
I am saying
do
that-
you kill them or do you arrest them? What do you do?
With the military
it's a
station
military
there,
thing, yes.
why do people don't enter Burma camp?
That is forest. So.
You think Burma
That is
camp there is
forest.
no gold there?
That's forest. So.
Go and dig Burma camp, there is gold there.
Okay.
But Lord Jonathan is asking a very pertinent question.
That what?
He says, in a forest, there are many different ways in which illegal miners can infiltrate.
I
Did you
am-
know that when Hannah Bissue actually went to, and where did she go? I'll get the Akonfree. There was actually a fuel station there. Brand new excavators, how they got their way in there. So once they've been able to bypass, Lawyer Janto is asking the question, and many Ghanaians want to know, what next? What happens?
I am saying that make the place, send a detachment there. And when the detachment goes there, they're not going to be sleeping with their girlfriends. They're going to be patrolling. What are you talking about?
And if they catch somebody in there violating the
Then the
rules,
laws will work with the person. They will go and jail him. Then we have lost that jail.
but if they're a foreigner, you deport them.
Don't kill people. Don't kill people. Don't kill.
When they are killing us.
Don't kill.
When they are killing us.
I am saying that put the military there. Let the military, it's a security zone. When you enter Burma camp and they catch you, what do they do? Do they kill you?
You can't compare Burma camp to
I
that.
am saying that if we had allowed Burma camp, people would dig there.
You can't compare
I
the
am
two.
saying they don't understand my argument.
Maybe you can't compare the
Even,
two.
look, in your room, there's gold under. Ghana, the whole of Ghana is gold. Do you know that?
All right.
Do you people know that?
Yeah.
The whole of Ghana is gold. There's gold in Burma camp. But
They are vested in the government.
you dare not enter Burma camp because it's a military zone. Declare it as military zones. This shoot to kill policy is backward. We kill people because of 50 Ghana cedis. We kill people because of corruption. Today, government officials are buying state bungalows. We kill people.
It's not the
We
same.
kill. It's the same.
Can't be the same. If the person standing
I like
there
to
has
see
a
two
bazooka,
lawyers arguing.
you know, a bazooka has a rifle that the army don't have. They are killing the people who are coming. We should leave them.
So you are telling me today.
should leave them.
You are telling me today in this on this platform that our army cannot fight galamseyers.
Hasn't it been shown?
No.
That some of the ammunition the Galamseyers have, our army don't have it.
You have not sent them there.
When we send
a
them there, what
military
happened?
detachment.
When we send them there, what happened?
Oh, you don't understand me. When you send them there,
Let's go.
you then equip
Let's
them.
go pussyfooting.
When you send them there, you then
Let's
equip
go
them.
pussyfooting.
Stop.
And Ghana will come to
You
an
can't
end.
kill people.
Okay.
You
all
can't kill
right.
people.
Okay.
You can't kill people.
When an armed robber comes into your house with a gun and you have a gun, would you watch him to shoot you first? Will you watch him to shoot you first? Your family are there. He comes in with a bazooka at you and you have a gun under your pillow. You will wait for him to shoot you before you shoot him.
Have you seen,
Let's go ahead.
Have you seen an armed robber take your own gun
I
and
said,
kill you?
let's go ahead. I'm not talking about that. He has entered
Why?
your room.
That's the extension of the discussion.
He's holding
All right,
his
Ma'am,
gun.
Ma'am, let's talk about-
He's holding his gun. Yours is
Ma'am,
under
Ma'am.
your pillow.
So let me take my turn.
But you were telling us the concrete steps that have been taken so
Yes.
far. So I'm writing them down.
So
Each
one.
step that has been taken. One.
Is that just yesterday there was a repeal of LI. There was amendment of
Amendment.
Doesn't matter. I'll come to that. The LI 2464, 62. There was an amendment of it. Now I've read that law, that LI, Forest Mining and Forest Reserve Law. I've noticed that with the repeal of that portion, that allows the president to allow mining in forest reserve, which by extension is given to the minister to issue certificates or to issue in writing for people to go into forest reserve and mine. With the repeal of that thing, the rest is gone. Because it's just like a snake. The cut off a snake's head, the rest is a rope. I've seen that the most important part of that law is Regulation 3.2, which empowers the president to allow people to go into that forest reserve. The rest is saying that when you now enter, you do this, you do this, you do this. But if you have not entered, can you do those things? So it is akin to cutting off the head of a snake, and the rest is a rope. So actually, this amendment has cut off the head of the snake, because the whole law hinges on Regulation 3.2. That's it. That the president would, by authority, allow you to enter. They are saying that that has been taken off. So what is the rest of this the law doing?
Then a revocation isn't so difficult.
That is for legal mining.
I want to understand something.
That is for legal mining.
But who is talking about illegal mining? Illegal mining is already illegal.
Those who enter illegally.
Now,
That
entry will have to come from the minister issuing with a certificate that you can enter. So
No, even that one has been taken off.
So how would they enter?
How would they
There's no
enter that to
mining.
do
This
ABC?
is legal.
No, you cannot enter again. It has been taken off.
So
But you said something that
It has been taken
but,
off
But when you
by-
enter, you would have to do ABC. And I'm saying that how do you enter? So if one cannot enter, then there's not going to be ABC.
There's not be ABC.
Okay, then, Lawyer Malaba, you might have to correct that because you did say that once they enter, they've got to follow some ABC
No, I
rules.
said that
okay,
once
they
you cannot enter, the rest is like a rope of this thing.
How do you stop illegal miners entering?
Illegal is already illegal.
How do you
Illegal
stop
is
them?
already
How do you-
illegal.
how do you
But
stop
now
them
they are entering. What do we
They are
do?
entering. The
So
people
I
are
have
entering.
given you the answer to that one. Send a police security detachment, make it a security zone. I have answers to everything that you are talking about.
Shoot to kill if anybody enters. Simple.
I have answers to all
Shoot
what you
to
are talking
kill.
about.
Perfect.
I have answered you. I have
Perfect.
told you that with that one, for the illegal people, make the forest reserves a security zone.
And they still enter.
Lawyer
What
Malaba, let
happens?
me ask you a question, please. How do you plan to address alleged complicity of state officials in illegal mining? Yesterday, during that presser, certain names were mentioned. Ken Ashigbe, he's the convener of the Ghana Coalition Against Illegal Mining. And he mentioned some names. In fact, he says that a petition has been sent to the president, which the president has acknowledged. And this has to do with the MP of our win, Honorable Oscar Labi. Any updates on that? He also talks about NDC chairpersons in Axim and Dunkwa. He says they're deeply involved in galamsey operations.
Look, my belief is that the sword must cut in both ways. And you see the Nankwase, their knife, you see the sharpening here and the sharpening here.
the chief butcher.
The chief butcher's knife. Both sides are sharpened. If you are dealing with NDC, MPP, in terms of Muntumi, deal with NDC people too. I am on national platform saying that I don't see how we should be protecting our own and then punishing people. Indeed, the president, when he met the assembly people, the DCs, didn't he tell them that when they fall in trouble, he's wash his hands? Mm-hmm. So we are dealing with a president who has made it categorically clear that nobody will be shielded. So for me, this man that you have mentioned, I don't know him, he's an MP.
Yes, Ashibe says they've petitioned the president. President has acknowledged.
So he has acknowledged.
Yes.
This is not a president who would have said that nobody did anything. He has acknowledged. The next thing is that I am convinced President Mahama would call for an investigation into his activities. And very soon you'll hear the results. Because this is a president who has not minced words when he meets his appointees. Even we, when he met us, that if we are not ready, me, my place, there's no money there. So even if me, I'm working like a public servant. But he has warned people
What do you mean there's no money there?
that
There's no money there.
if you go with the mindset
There's procurement.
of stealing in those areas, you should give way. Yours is to work. So President Mahama is clear about it. And so there's not going to be shielding. I think that what Hanabisu went through is harrowing. It's harrowing. There was a year I was coming from Lomé, Togo, and coming back. And you see the communities there feel that the car speed and knock people down. So there was an accident, I think there was, a car knocked somebody. The community came out and blocked the front and blocked the back. Come and see the cars parked. That's a community that is angry. That day, I felt that will I go or they are coming to attack us? Now you go to a forest reserve as a government appointee to check on what is happening. Then you have state agents collaborating with galamseyers, because I'm told the police was there supporting what they were doing, and the police were even at the forefront and protecting them against Hanabisu.
In fact, there's a commander who has come under some particular scrutiny because he was insistent, and I spoke with her on this matter, that she released these Chinese nationals to him. He was very insistent, but she stood her ground and said, no, these illegal miners were coming with her. And that's another angle of the conversation, complicity of our security personnel.
That is it. And
how
that is my point.
We plan on tackling
so
that.
Why should that person be at post this morning, ever since that thing happened?
Yes.
That policeman, why should he be at post this morning? IGP, I'm meeting him today to talk about roads. I'm going to see the IGP. We have a meeting at 2. I'll chip in that thing too. Why is that person at post up to now? That policeman who was aiding galamseyers against Hanabisu. You see, we as a people must do what is right. And I believe in doing what is right. Then when the goodies come, you can take. You understand? Somebody can come and say that, oh, you've done well. I'm saying you understand me. If somebody meets me by the road here and say that, oh, you are doing well, I want to give you lunch, I won't refuse. But I would say buy lunch for me.
What does your code of conduct say?
The code of conduct says I shouldn't take rice. So the point is that
fellow.
The point is that do right, and then other things will come. But if you go and you are doing the wrong things, hoping to benefit from it, I am against that. So this policeman, I'm sure he's an inspector or whatever, by now should have been invited to the headquarters for disciplinary actions. I am disappointed in the IGP for not dealing with that matter. But I'm meeting him today. I'll talk to him.
Malba, thank you so much for that. I'll read a comment out to you, and you can ruminate on that for me, and then I'll go to Ebo next. Nicholas on YouTube has this to say: regardless of how you want to put it, please stay to your promises. You never said that you would amend. Rather, you said you would repeal. So please do that for the good people of Ghana. There are a lot of comments in that stead asking why, many different comments, and I've written down a few, coming from your party, your government, indicated that this was going to be revoked, completely scrapped, and now we're hearing a different story. Ruminate on that for me, please. Let me come to Ebo, and then we'll get these much-needed answers.
I also have some list. I'll educate people about the difference between the two.
Certainly, and repeal.
You see, I have said that because of the removal of that provision, the rest of it becomes redundant, isn't it?
So those promises, when those promises were made, had you weighed up the technicalities? Had you weighed up Regulation 3.2?
Whereas I'm crawling, you are running. So I have said that. Now the next thing is that it is therefore easier for the government to then repeal it completely. So yesterday, the law was given birth to. The new law, which repeals that portion, was given birth to. That then makes the rest of the provisions redundant. I think that at this stage, the president can now repeal the law, and that will come. That will follow.
Malaba, I'll come back to you on this one. Ebo, your thoughts on this particular... In fact, on everything that so far has been put on the table, we've heard the opinion of Lawyer Jantwa. Are we shooting to kill? Prof says that we need to go the holistic way and get to the root cause of why we are engaged in galamsey. Lawyer Maleba says that repeal versus revoke versus amend, the main theme is that you cannot go into the forest. What do you say?
It's quite interesting how the conversation is going. You see, I've been thinking, in fact, what I'm going to say now is not something that I planned to say before I came here. It just came up, because I've been thinking. Because of what Lawyer Jantwa said and what Amaleba said, what Prof said, I've been thinking. And the question that came to me, and something that came to me is simple. we do everything to protect our democracy, don't we? Mm-hmm. Everything. So, to the extent that if anyone attempts to derail this democracy that we are practicing, the person will be killed. If you stage a coup to topple this democracy, you'll be killed. Yet you can live without democracy. There are countries that don't practice democracy, and they are far better than countries that practice democracy. We can't live without good drinking water. We can't live with good air. We can't live without good air. We can't live without good food. Yet, when people are destroying the very air we breathe in, when people are destroying the very food that we eat, when people are destroying the very water that we drink, we think those people should be pampered. Yet if somebody attempts to make a coup, the person should be killed. When in actual fact, you can live without democracy, but you can't live with these things I've mentioned. These are the thoughts that came up to me because of what Lawyer Jantua said. That if people don't care about destroying the water, our very existence, why should they be spared? I mean, these are critical questions we need to be asking ourselves. Because if a few people who endanger the whole country, and yet you have to pamper them in the name of democracy, which we can live without, then what are we doing as a nation?
Clear them.
If indeed we are going to deploy the military to take over the forest, then as part of their mandate, when people come and they want to resist them with guns, they should kill them. It shouldn't be a problem at all.
It's war.
It's war. It's war. We should be very serious about this issue. Because you know what? The Chinese people don't mind their forests. Who born dog? Who are you to mine in any forest in China? Go to Singapore. Go to these advanced countries. They don't mind. You dare not.
And do they kill people who go to do that?
Go and try it.
They don't kill them.
No, you know, even there.
They take them through the legal process.
Before they kill.
In China, recently, a coach took a bribe. He was killed.
But they'll take him through.
I'm coming. He was
They'll take him
killed.
through a process.
They are killing me.
Ghana here, a coach will take a bribe and will he be killed? No, so the point I'm making is that we should be more serious about even if
it look like the Chinese want to just catch you, they just send it to firing squad. They take you through a process.
No, but you see,
when he has gun.
No, but you see, the point remains. The most important point for me is that we should be more serious about our approach. Mm-hmm. We have been using a particular approach over the years. We are not getting the results. Of course, we can't be doing the same thing experts.
In fact, the Chinese call it insanity, doing the same thing over and over again.
It doesn't make sense. And we are burning, and we are burning the oxygen tank. Gradually, that's what we are doing. To the extent that at a point in time, even breathing quality air will become a problem in this country. Because once you touch your forest, you are touching the very air you breathe. Once you touch the water, so in the whole country, it's like you've taken a slow poison.
Educate them what the forest does. It absorbs carbon dioxide, doesn't it?
Yes, and release oxygen.
The only greenery in Accra, Achimota Forest. Mm-hmm. You know, some people bought it.
So the point is that
you want to kill me.
See, the point is that we should have multifaceted measures. And when I go with AB on his point that we can declare those areas military zones, security zones. Now, if we've declared an area security zone and people encroach, and they would want to forcibly mine,
will you dare encroach security zones? Look at the Jubilee House here.
What do you do to them?
Jubilee House here at Tabatia, they have security zones.
What do you do to them?
You try it.
You eliminate them.
They'll slap you 1, 2, 3 before they even eliminate you.
So my point is that until, and let me say this also, so I have this adage I normally use, that when you see tadpoles dancing on the surface of the water, the ones that play the drum, the frogs themselves, are beneath the water. In other words, all the politicians are the problems of galamsey. Of those people who
bring... financiers.
Yes, the politicians.
Who are the financiers?
Because you know what? One thing we need to do is that...
We haven't got one financier.
The protection of our natural resources or forests should be taken out of the hands of the politician. You should have an independent body to be doing the protection bits so that the politician will not have no control. Because the reason is that these communities, because the politicians take drastic actions against them, they tend to vote against them. And no politician will want to lose power. So they use it as something to blackmail the politicians. Now, if you take that protection bit from the politicians so that we all know that no politician has control whatsoever as to who to go where, who to go, people will begin to rethink. And they will begin to take the protection issue seriously. But the way it is being managed, this issue of the LI being repealed, being amended, for me, the president promised Ghanaians that once they came to power, this thing was going to be revoked. It was going to be repealed. Let's repeal it. Even if we have to repeal it, we come out with a better version of it. Let's do it. Because you need to satisfy the people in respect of the kind of promise you gave them before they gave you the mandate. Then we can go back to the table and say, then how do we do it better? How do we come up with a better version of this law so that we can protect our forests? Before I end, let me read something.
In fact, that was my next question. I want to know what the Yellow Bible has to say about this.
Let me read something. I mean, I can't read all of them, but we said,
what is the Yellow Bible?
If you go to page 77.
Also, Alan's Yellow Bible.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If you go to page 77, as I said, we have already declared that if Ghanaians had given us the mandate, we would have banned small-scale mining 1 year. I mean, small-scale mining, that is where the problem is, illegal mining issue. We would have banned it for 1 year.
We've seen that before. We've seen a banning, and during that ban, the illegal mining, in fact, was booming.
So that we can use the 1 year to do. You see, we need to create a peace-be-still situation.
1 year,
It's whenever there's confusion, you need to make sure that there's a peace-be-still situation before you can do what you want to do. But I want to read something that we have here in this plan. Of course, the first one is like the promise you made to Ghanaians. You're going to eliminate galamsey within 2 years. But you say aggressively enforce existing legislation and regulations against mining in water bodies and forest reserves in order to avoid the pollution of our water bodies and blah, 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 blah. That's the third point, which is very important, which Kwame Janto said something about. He said, develop and implement a new business model for dealing substantively with illegal mining, galamsey, by facilitating the establishment of small-scale mining companies to be owned by groups of young people currently engaged in galamsey.
When we gave you cassava to turn into starch, you couldn't do it. Let alone this one. We gave you cassava. We gave you cassava. We gave them cassava
land
to turn into starch.
Yes.
They couldn't do it. Let's this one. AB. Let's take the politics out of this thing. Let's take the politics out of it. Cassava.
No, listen.
Let's take the politics out of it.
You know, I was thinking about the same thing.
Amalba wants to order us to go to area that
We did it.
Alan, oh, listen, Amalba, you made a point.
We didn't plant the cassava. We gave you cassava free.
No.
I mean,
this disinformation and misinformation will have to be dealt with once and for all. When Alan brought in this Ayensu starch factory, as we speak, go and ask Despite. Where was
it's not the topic.
No, where was Despite getting his starch base for his need
on this one?
No. He's misinforming. He's misinforming. So I'm just setting a record straight.
This is the. Let's talk about that.
Even today.
Let's derail you this morning.
Forget that one.
We are very keen.
He's a Caspodia. He's a fellow. So
let's get back on track. We're keen to hear.
At the time, Alan was under particular government, wasn't he?
No.
So let's talk about galamsey. That's where we are looking for.
It was very successful. The starch factory was very successful to the extent that even today, it is being used to produce this root beer and all that. So it was successful.
Okay.
Yeah. So please don't misinform and disinform. Okay. But the point is that it will be good for us because the issue of unemployment is very germane. And there's nothing we can do about it unless we solve it. So if the people those who grew up in those mining areas, all that they know or they want to do in life is to do mining.
That's right.
Those who are born along the sea want to do fishing. Those in the forest, somewhere in the village, they want to do farming. They want to engage in mining. So what do? And if you don't control and regulate them and give them something to do, they will find something to do for themselves. So you would have to create the enabling environment. Right. That is why the government will have to support these young men, put them into groups, and cooperatives, so that the government will then have to give them concessions, specific areas to mine and things to do. So that by the same way you are protecting the environment or asking them to do the right thing, you are also creating jobs for them. So that is for me, that is what is important for us to do. But as for the start campaign, you can't use it against Allen because it was successful. I said that when NDC took over in 2008, they couldn't make it.
Not the topic.
Certainly. All right.
I'm giving so. The last thing I want to say.
So, I'll give you your final bite. Yes.
This particular issue is a national issue. It's not a party issue. We should all put our hands together, sit and say, how do we solve this? For me, first state of emergency, to give us the time to look at the laws, to look at how we create employment, to look at politicians who are in there, to look at those who are financing it, to give a holistic look at it. Because when we then come out of it, we would not want a situation where we go back to it. We would not want a situation where we go back to it. Look, if they structure galamsey well, and it is handled well as a business, some of us will invest in it.
You would go into it?
If it's done properly,
yeah,
and there are cooperatives, why won't I? Isn't it gold?
They can even be in the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Then they make money. And it is best to keep your money in gold and keep it in liquid cash. Will we not all do it? Because as Ebo said, the entire stretch of Ghana, north, south, east, and west, is covered in gold. You think the name Gold Coast was given to us for nothing? No. It's covered in gold. I've seen the map. Everywhere is covered in gold. Are we not mining gold in the north today? Deep mine gold. So what we are doing now is only alluvial. The deep one is even better. So we should be able to structure it, and that is what I'm looking for the president to do. To say, look, this thing can make money for this country. It can create employment. Let's educate those who are in there to show them how it is done, and let's turn it into a business. Bring AGI in, bring the Chamber of Commerce in. How do we do this into a business? Then we all move.
But
then
thank you for that.
Let me finish. It helps our city, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
The city will be strong constantly.
Let's look at it. Thank you for that.
he made a point. I didn't mention Alan's name. Alan is my good friend. I said, you who is reading? We gave you cassava.
You mean in the passing of Ebo Bachman? Let's stick to the issues. Let me read out some comments, and then I do want to get that distinction from Prof very quickly. There's another topic I am dying to hear your thoughts on, but for those of you who sent in comments, thank you so much. It's a very vibrant comment section. Not at all. I'll get that clarification from Prof, and then we move on. So a few more of your comments coming through. This one from Agbesi Basil says, since our democratic leaders cannot take action, then should a military ruler come in? That's the question that's been asked there by Agbesi. Ahmed Esiedu says, well, what's the difference in chemical killing and killing by the gun? These people are killing us with chemicals and we are watching on. Shoot to kill is the only way. Very interesting how polarizing that particular idea is. On this table, I've got two gentlemen who say, no, we shouldn't go on that path, and two who say we should, and that reflects also in the comments. Prince Nanayao says, Lawyer Maleba, are you aware that these people are environmental terrorists? That's a question to you this morning. Prince Chapo says, we have to stop playing politics with the galamsey issue. And he agrees that this is what funds their campaigns. That's been alleged there by Prince Cham Kapo. Laurie George says, I support Mr. Jantwa, provided the galamsey people are threatening the security personnel. Then I think shoot to kill is allowed if they are being threatened. Petra Cornelia says, Lawyer Malaba, I disagree with you. Mr. Jantwa is on point. Ghanaian people fear guns. Let's go in there with the guns. Wood Iduji says, we need to take the bull by its horn. Most of these people are armed terrorists, and they're using the galamsey to support their agenda. Another one that's replicated throughout the comments. This one says, from Cynthia Elom, she says, President Mahama, please do what we want now by repealing the LI to save us. The water that runs through our pipes is certainly not good for our children. Kimathi Adia says the security agencies are more complicit in illegal mining. They protect illegal miners and give them information about when there's going to be a raid. Interestingly, that's what Hannah basically said. She had to go undercover in a trotro. Some of her own personnel, she didn't tell them exactly where they were going, because every time they get there, there's been a tip-off, and these illegal miners have already fled the scene. So another one that's coming here, Wood UG says, the problem we have is that we have all the relevant laws, but the implementation is questionable. Prof, let me come to you, make that distinction for us, and quickly I'll get my final or a bite on my next topic, and then we can call it.
Okay, so the revoke and repeal are used in, interchangeably, but they have slightly different meanings. We can revoke, and revoke means you cancel or annul something, and that is an administrative word. But when we talk about repeal, it means you abolish, and that is a legal word. See?
Okay.
So you can revoke somebody's driver's license. You can revoke somebody's driver's license because of reckless driving. But you can also repeal a law prohibiting mining in the reserve area. So the two are used interchangeably, but there's a slight difference. One deals with the law, and the other deals with administration. Now, let me also go deeper about repealing, what it means. So repealing means that you are abolishing or annulling. It also renders the LI. So if you repeal, it renders the LI null and void, as if it never existed. So people should notice that. That is when you repeal. And then it also means that the law is deemed outdated or unnecessary. So that is repeal. But when we talk about amendment, it means a change or modification, and that is exactly what happened. There's a change or modification made to the existing LI, which is 2462. And then it updates and revises the old one and then put new one there. So if you go to, let's say, America, they had the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, the 14th Amendment. It means that when the law was made, there was something that had to be added to it. So let me give you an illustration so that people can understand. So imagine that there's a law that prohibits drinking alcohol. If there's a law that prohibits drinking alcohol in public places, if the law is repealed, it means that drinking in public places will no longer be regulated by that specific law. But if the law is amended, it means that the same law is amended to include let's say, you can also not have visible alcohol in your car. So we are adding something to it, but that is an additional provision to the law. So that is what amendment means, an additional provision. And then when we talk about repeal, it means that it's completely prohibited. So we shouldn't sweat about these law amendments, but when we make an amendment, it means that we have seen something new that we are adding to the existing one. And I think that we shouldn't sweat much about the difference between revoking and then amending or repealing.
Absolutely. All right. So thank you for that distinction there, Prof. And okay, there's a comment here that I do want to read out as we close out this particular topic. Yao Fibri says, we will continue to struggle as a country if we don't take a second look at the way we are handling illegal mining. The galamsey is a socio-economic issue for many Ghanaians. So if steps are not taken, we will channel all our resources into the fight, and we will not achieve any proper results. The best solution to this galamsey menace is an issuing of their own mining license and specifying their own mining procedures and regulations. Thank you for that comment, as well as a host of other comments which you have sent this morning. You've made our comment sections very vibrant indeed. But I think we can park it here for this galamsey conversation. Lawyer Malaba, I'll give you the final bites. There are many questions still coming through on our socials, especially wanting clarification. I think you've made some comments to the effect that the actions that have been taken so far as the LI is concerned, will suffice in the fight against galamsey. But wrap it up nicely in a bow for us, what we should expect from government moving forward.
The repeal has not taken off the president's power and the minister's power to authorize, mining in the forest reserves. So that is clear now. Ghanaians are calling for the president to walk his talk, which is to completely do away with the law. I am saying that having done this by amending the law, the rest of the provisions have become redundant. As a result of that, it doesn't pay if it is completely abolished. The next thing about the shoot and kill is that you should also understand that there are other auxiliary people attracted to the mining side but are not engaged in mining. Oh, yes. There are herbalists there.
Herbalists?
Yes, they give them concoctions. There are people who sell food there. Yeah? So it is a whole commodity. So, but our target is not those who are looking to earn their daily bread. Our focus is on those who are engaged in galamsey or who are engaged in illegal mining in forest reserves. That's why I'm saying that if you turn the place into a security zone, then the people, the detachment that are sent there will now patrol the whole area. And it will not be possible for people to infiltrate. For me, I don't think that we should kill. I think that we should send people through the process. When you arrest the person, send him through the process, and when the court then says that you should kill, then you can kill. But extrajudicial killings will give this country a bad name. That's what I'm saying. Extrajudicial killings will give this country a bad name. But we can still end up killing them if we take them through the process. Then the judge will pronounce kill if the law allows that sentence. The court will pronounce kill. When you then kill, that one, there's no problem. But to just arrest people at the mining site and then stick them firing squad and kill them, these are extrajudicial killings. And I'm against that.
Lawyer Maliba, thank you so much for your thoughts this morning. Lawyer Janto had to take leave of us early to attend a meeting, but we're grateful for his time this morning. Sadly, this is all that time will allow for, but it's an important conversation that we continue to keep the steam on. We can't let the ball, roll out of the courts as far as galamsey, illegal mining, and its attendant risks are concerned. This morning, I've had in the studio with me Professor Enoch Opoku-Antwi, governance expert and policy analyst. Prof, always a pleasure. Thank you for sharing some nuggets of wisdom
for
with
God
us.
and country.
For God and country, indeed. We also had Abel Bachman. He's a senior communicator, Movement for Change, offering some other solutions there in the Yellow Bible, as I like to call it. Abraham Amaliba, Acting Director General, National Road Safety Authority. And Lawyer Maliba, a number of people also commending you for the work you're doing as far as the billboards are concerned. People are mentioning their areas. In fact, I see this one from Alex McLean. He says, Honorable Amaliba. Hey, they've added honorable to it. He says, I watched you.
When you do a good job, you get honorable.
He says, I watched your team.
But he needs more funding.
I think you had an audience yesterday. He says, I watched you and your team remove the illegal and nauseating signboards in town yesterday. Please extend the exercise to Community 25 Jeff Traco. Please come there. Number of people mentioning their area. In fact, in Kumasi, they're asking you to come to
the
Kumasi
man of the moment.
Expeditiously. I don't know how quickly you can make your way there.
Expeditiously is a big word.
They want you to come there as quickly as possible. Funding. All right. Well, we start making a case for Lawyer Maliba right here on the big issue. But gentlemen, thank you so much. I hope you have some rest and relaxation planned for the weekend.
Yes.
Prof, you have some rest and relaxation
Yeah, I go to
planned?
my village, go for it, yeah. My village is not a village.
Ebo was given cassava, he couldn't.
Hey, but what about you? What does
He
the
didn't
weekend
plant the
have in store?
cassava. He was
Are you ready?
Yes, I will rest. Do some other things.
So where's the cassava?
I know that Malaba will not be resting this weekend. He'll be very busy indeed. So all of you who joined us in this conversation, we truly appreciate your time. It's been another fantastic week. Thank you so much for all of your thoughts and comments. Thank you again to DMC Tailoring for my beautiful dress. Do stick with us. There's more to come. *439#. It's a mega jackpot. We're picking option 8. 4,000 Ghana cedis going to 3 lucky individuals. Make sure you're playing as many times as possible. Also, don't go too far. We will be right back.